What's up, YouTube? This is JohtoGold here, back with another Pokemon Black Wi-Fi battle. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm not a very good Spade imitator. Anyways, I got a battle against some guy named C-Dub, and yeah, I start out with my Smeargle, and he starts out with his Infernape. You guys know what I'm gonna do right here, unless you're new to watching my battles, which you probably are, because I don't have very many viewers yet. But yeah, he goes for the close combat. I survive with my Focus Sash, and I go for the Spore. And yeah, he's gonna withdraw his Infernape and send out his Skarmory, and I'm gonna go for the Endeavor, and it's gonna bring that Skarmory down to 1 HP, and Empty Bottle Faints from my Rocky Helmet, which is gay. So I send out my Volcarona, my Ugly Bugly, that fiery thingy, and he withdraws his Skarmory and sends out his Milotic, and I go for the Bug Buzz, and it barely does anything. So the Milotic's special defense is probably maxed out, and yeah. So he goes for the Scald. I'm predicting that, so I withdraw, and I send out my Vaporeon just to take the hit. Then I switch that out and send out my Milotic, and he's gonna go for the Dragon Tail right here. And it's gonna do more to him than it is to me because of my Rocky Helmet. And yeah, and my Volcarona gets dragged back out again. And I switch back out and send my Milotic back in, and he's gonna go for a Toxic right here. Yeah. And yeah. And right after all this bullcrap right here, leftovers and toxic damage and stuff, I'm gonna go for the Toxic, and that's a battle of two poison Milotics that both know recover. So this is gonna every time he sends out his Milotic in this battle, I'm gonna send mine out too. Cause yeah, he's gonna withdraw his Milotic now and send out a Scissor, and I go for the Ice Beam and it doesn't do anything. And I suffer from poison damage and stuff, so I withdraw, but he predicts it and uses Pursuit and does a whole bunch of damage, but he gets hit with the Rocky Helmet, but you know, whatever. I send out my Volcarona, and he withdraws his Scissor and sends out his Milotic to take a Fiery Dance, which is good. Well, not good for me, good for him, but you know what I'm talking about. And that Milotic takes a Fiery Dance really good. I don't get a special attack boost. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't have stayed in anyway. Because, yeah, I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to send up my Milotic. Go Squishy. And, yeah, he's going to go for the Skull and not do anything at all. And, yeah. This is just a bunch of toxic damage and stuff. He withdraws his Milotic and sends out a Skarmory, and I have to go for the recover right here. And I'm gonna get back past half, 200 HP, and the toxic damage is gonna bring me back down to 160. But that's what I've got to deal with. So I withdraw and send up my Volcarona, and he goes for the Roost, and he's gonna get half his HP back and be at like 51%. And so I go for the Flamethrower, and I'm gonna knock that thing out. I don't know why he didn't try to save his Skarmory. I guess it wasn't useful for him, I guess. I don't know. He should have switched into something else who would take the Flamethrower, but he didn't. So he sends out a Zapdos, and I predict an electric move, so I send up my Landorus, and I negate the attack. And he's gonna send out his Milotic, and that Milotic's gonna take a Stone Edge, and yeah, it's down past half now. But it doesn't matter, that Milotic knows recover. So I withdraw, and I send out my Milotic, and yeah. This Milotic Stalwart is like pretty much the whole battle. But, yeah. Shut up. I don't know what to say in this battle, it's just a bunch of stalling, but it was a good battle, and that's why I'm uploading it. And yeah, I'm gonna go for the recover, get back to like 300 HP, 306, and he goes for the Scald and fails to do anything again. And he's left over the Toxic and stuff. And that's kind of annoying, isn't it? Even if this battle is it's like going almost twice as fast as it usually would. He withdraws and sends out his Latios, and I go for the recover. And I'm gonna have to switch out of there because the Latios is dangerous. Send in my Tyranitar, he predicts it really well and goes for the surf, but my sandstorm's gonna knock off half the power of that attack, and it still does over half, which is gay. Then he withdraws, fearing my Tyranitar's max speed jolly, which it actually is. Sends out his melodic, and takes that attack like a boss. And yeah, the melodic's down past half again, so I have to withdraw. And I send out my melodic, and yeah, the melodic stall war continues. He goes to the skull and doesn't do anything again. They both get buffed by the sandstorm now, so it's gonna be a little faster. Not really, since they both don't recover and stuff. But yeah, toxic and leftovers and sandstorm just makes his part even worse now. Just because it takes so long for every turn to go by. But you know, that's what you gotta do in Pokemon. Get residual damage. It's always good, except when it's happening to you, unless you've got the advantage in it and you're both suffering. But you know, yeah, he withdraws his Melodic and he sends out his Latios, and I'm gonna predict that and go for the Ice Beam and take that Latios down past half. I think it's probably got 45% of its HP left. Well, less than that because of the Sandstorm now. But I'm fearing that thing to use a water move, so I switch into my Vaporeon, but he predicts that, and he uses his Dragon Pulse, and yeah, they both get buffed by the Sandstorm, and that Latios has to switch out, and he sends out a Zapdos, and I go for the Ice Beam. It's good to have two Pokemon that know Ice moves, just for that kind of situation, and yeah, they both get buffed by the Sandstorm and stuff, so I have to withdraw because he's going to use an electric move. But I couldn't have been more wrong, and he goes for the Roost. And I didn't know at this point that Roost takes away the flying part. Like, if you're a part flying, part something else, it takes away your flying type. And I could have used Earthquake, but it doesn't really matter since it was Latios, and yeah. The Latios I don't even hit it with my Stone Edge, so whatever. Then he gets his hidden power off, and I go for the U-turn, and I knock it out, and he leaves me with like 219 HP or something. But I'm getting behind myself already, and I had to send out my Tyranitar, and he sends out a Scissor, and yeah, and shut up! I withdraw Tyranitar because I don't want to get hit with a Bullet Punch, and I send out my Volcarona, and Bullet Punch does a whole crapload of damage for a not very effective base 40 move. And he's predicting me to use a fire move, which is right, and he sends out his Infernape, and the Infernape takes the Fiery Dance, not as well as it maybe should have, but think about this, if Sand wasn't there, that attack would have done double, so that Infernape's got bad special defense, but it doesn't really matter, it's not meant to be taking special attacks. So I set up my Landorus, and he predicts that, switches out to a Zapdos, predicts my Earthquake, switches out to a Zapdos. I miss, and he sends out his Melodic, and I go for the Stone Edge to hit the Zapdos, but then he switches into the Melodic and takes it down to like maybe 15%, and then his leftovers restore him back, then his poison knocks him back down. Then I go for the Earthquake, and that's the end of that Melodic. So yeah, the Water Sea Snake thingy is gone, and my Melodic wins the Toxic War, even though my Landorus did it for him. And yeah, he sends out a Scizor, and I go for the Stone Edge, and I miss. And he goes for another Bullet Punch and knocks my Landorus out. And then I send out my Ugly Bugly, my Volcarona, and he withdraws his Scizor and sends out his Infernape. And I go for the Fiery Dance again, and again it's gonna do like nothing. Well, not really. It's gonna do a decent amount because Infernape's got bad special defense, and yeah, and stuff. And he stays asleep, so he just flatters it out so he can get a safe switch in. I go for the Flamethrower, and I knock out his Infernape, and yeah, buffed up by the Sandstorm and stuff. And he sends out his Zapdos, and yeah, he gets his Pressure ability. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. Goes for the Thunderbolt, knocks my Volcarona out, and that's the end of my Volcarona. So he lost some of his HP, so that thing's life orbed. That's not good. I send out my Tyranitar, and he withdraws, predicting a Stone Edge, and he sends out a Scizor. And I do go for the Stone Edge. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of damage to it. And yeah, it's in the red now, but it's not safe because he knows bullet punch, so I withdraw, send out my melodic, and he's gonna go for the bullet punch like I predicted, and it's gonna do a little bit of damage. He gets a crit though, and he gets hurt with my Rocky helmet, and yeah, sandstorm and poison damage and stuff. He goes for the bullet punch, knocks me out, but the Rocky helmet's gonna knock the scissor out too. So, bye sea snake thingy and red bug thingy, and I sent out my Vaporeon, and his last Pokemon is the Zapdos, and I thought I could survive one Thunderbolt, but the Life Orb definitely said no to that, and it knocks out my Vaporeon, and yeah, the Zapdos is down below half, which is good, so this is kind of looking in my favor, but I don't know if my Tyranitar can survive a Life Orbed max special attack Thunderbolt from a Zapdos, but I could be more wrong, and I go for the Stone Edge and I knock the Zapdos out, and that's good game C-dub! So yeah, I win with 29 HP. Good game.